undergoing treatment for a rare form of cancer. 4-year-old Archie Wilkes began to develop a fever and was rather terrifyingly also diagnosed then with coronavirus.
After spending 6 days in hospital in a room with his dad, Archie, he was discharged at the beginning of April. We are delighted to say he has now beaten the virus, and he joins us with his mum, Harriet, his dad, Simon, and his twin brother, Henry. Morning to all of you.
Hi, thanks,
lovely to see you all this morning, smiling. Hello!
Hi!
You see the boys, they're full of cheer and spirits this morning. Harriet, it must have been a really worrying time for all of you. Archie has this very rare form of cancer, as Ranveer said, but when he contracted the coronavirus as well, I can't imagine what you all went through. What had you tried to do in order to protect him from the virus?
Well, we started quarantining, self-isolating about a week before the lockdown, a week or so. So we were kind of just in the house, no visitors, nothing. We had our health visitors come to do bits and pieces for Archie, and obviously hospital appointments, which we couldn't avoid. But apart from that, we were just inside. So it was a bit of a shock when we found out that he'd managed to get the coronavirus.
Yeah. And we can see, Simon, that the two of them are full of energy and full of beans. So I can imagine that trying to contain them at the best of times and keep them happy is going to be tricky.
Yes, insight into our life here. Henry was on the floor 30 seconds ago.
It's wonderful madness, and we love it. I guess the question was, though, when eventually you realised, and Simon, you and Archie had to go into hospital. What was that like for the four of you?
It was really worrying. As Harriet said, we didn't expect him to obviously end up in there, because we were being so strict and we were making sure that he was keeping away from everyone possible who potentially could have given him the virus. We really thought we were doing everything we could to stop him from getting it. And he was actually undergoing treatment at the time, immunotherapy, which gave him a slight cough, which was completely normal. So when he had a slight cough, we really didn't expect it, and it just happened that when we actually took him into hospital and they checked his observations, that's when he actually spiked his first temperature. So it was, in a way, good timing. We were actually in the hospital when he first spiked the temperature, and then obviously we got transferred up there to the coronavirus ward. I mean, we're used to hospitals now, so obviously the last year we've been in there a lot with Archie, but it's still really worrying to be in there and dealing obviously with the virus. It was still quite unknown compared to other things he might have had in the last year, so it was really worrying.
And when we talk about those who are in a vulnerable group, my goodness, it couldn't come more vulnerable in a sense than Archie there. At what point did what did the doctor say about how this coronavirus could affect him, given he's already his immune system is suppressed? Although
yeah, so he was in the middle of
not.
So he was in the middle of treatment. So he was having immunotherapy, which obviously affects the immune system as well. And during chemotherapy, obviously, that does affect the immune system. He's had problems with his lungs in the past. When he's had viruses, more common viruses, which they know how to deal with, he's had problems in the past with his lungs. So it was a worry, obviously knowing that the coronavirus does affect the lungs quite badly and significantly. It was quite a worry to obviously, for the first couple of nights especially, just to see how it was going to affect his lungs. And obviously he did need oxygen, which was a bit worrying on the first night. And he got a little bit worse and deteriorated a little bit the second night as well, and he started needing a bit more oxygen, so we kind of had to keep on top of that. And the nurses and doctors and everyone were so transparent, and they just were really good and just kept on top of it and made sure they got him as fit as possible before obviously we came home as well.
Yeah. We can see what a difference. I mean, he's full of, as Ranveer said, full of spirit and energy. He's a big old yawn. Harriet, what was it like for you, though, as mum, because you were separated from Archie, and I imagine that was really, really difficult and the longest you'd ever been away from your son?
Yeah, it was. Usually when he's in hospital, we swap over every couple of days. So it was definitely the longest that I've been without seeing him. And obviously when he's unwell, it's quite worrying, especially when you're not there and listening to what the doctors are saying, because they are quite reassuring. And so it was kind of, yeah, it was it was really difficult to kind of not be there and make sure he's okay.
And can I ask you both? I mean, you are obviously still going through, you know, the worst nightmare, really. You know, your child being so ill is what all of us as parents fear the most. You fear that more than anything else, actually, in the world, isn't it? Your children getting so sick. There are many, many families now who are dealing with this fear for the first time with any of their relatives. You've been dealing with it for a long time. What is the mindset? How do you keep positive? What do you do day in, day out when you know that the closest, most precious person in your life is so ill? Not just with COVID, I mean, the thing, you know, him having this rare form of cancer, because I think that people are suffering this kind of trauma for the first time in many cases.
Yeah, we definitely, I mean, it's a lot harder in this self-isolating situation because you've just not got any distractions. So the past year, we've kind of been doing a lot of days out as a family and just making most of the time and appreciating being together and when he's not in hospital. So we've been doing a lot of that the past year with him being poorly, but obviously in this situation it is quite hard to distract yourself from what's going on. Yeah, it's hard not to think about it.
I think it's quite obvious, but I think the main thing is you just have to really just tune in and just cherish every moment you have with your kids. That's the main thing you just have to do. It's really hard, obviously, especially in our situation. There's obviously other families in a similar situation as well, and sometimes obviously when they're not cooperating it can be quite hard.
Well, they're lovely.
You've got him in a firm grip there.
Yeah, it's lovely to see how willful.
Put that aside and just deal with it, and you're in the moment, and we just learn to be in the moment every day, really. And obviously, you have your ups and downs, but you just have to really just power through, really, and just try and put it to the back of your mind and just enjoy your kids.
So look,
wonderful advice.
We can see Archie is proudly wearing his Spurs top. Aren't you, Archie?
Won't take it off.
Yeah, he won't take it off.
Good. Take it off.
Good for him. Archie, can you hear me?
Archie,
there's something far more interesting happening out the window.
Now, Archie, who's your favourite footballer, Archie?
Who's your favourite footballer?
Harry Kane.
Kane.
And when you play football in the back garden, who do you play as?
When you score your goals. Henry, who do you say when you score your goals? Who do you say, Archie?
Go.
You go, goal, and you say Harry Kane, don't you?
You play a bit of Harry Kane. Well, look, we have a very special message for Archie, for Henry, and for all of you from somebody that we think that they like rather a lot. Have a listen to this.
Have a look.
Hi, Archie. Great to hear you're feeling better and on the mend. You're a strong boy. Just keep listening to the doctors, nurses, and your parents. I hear you and your twin brother Henry love to play football, so keep playing in the garden, stay at home. And yeah, I wish you all the best.
Oh, wow.
How amazing.
How
Well, I got
amazing.
Henry back.
Yeah, first time he's been quiet all morning as well. Do you know what? It's lovely to see the four of you, to see them both full of so much energy. Archie as well. We know that we've sent that message to you. Thank you very much to Harry Kane for giving us that
You can
message.
replay
for
it
you
as many
today.
times as you want now.
Thank you so much
Okay.
for that.
It will be.
Bribery, going to bed, getting them up in the morning, getting them washed. Get a little bit of support from Harry Kane. Best of luck, guys, for the rest of the lockdown. You know that you're keeping your family as safe as you can, but it's lovely to see you all this morning.
Thank you. Can we just say a quick massive thank you? I know it's on theme, but a massive thank you to the NHS doctors and nurses.
Yeah.
They're just so good with us. They really put us at ease.
Amazing.
Obviously, throughout the whole year since he's been diagnosed, they've been great. But since we obviously went in with the coronavirus as well, they were just so transparent and really put us at ease as parents as well. So thank you so much to them.
You have passed on that thanks. We will echo that thanks. And we hear what you're saying, Archie. We're going to let you go. Don't worry. You've been a star for long enough. Lovely to see you guys this morning.
Oh, lots of love to all of you. My goodness. And what great advice from people who know. Cherish every moment.
Yeah.
Whilst they're well.
So
Yeah.
important. So